You're the smartest person in the room. You see the flaws in every argument. You catch mistakes before anyone else. You're almost always right. But here's the weird part. People don't trust you, not fully. They respect you, sure, they come to you for answers. But when it's time for the big decisions, the promotions, the inner circle stuff, somehow you're on the outside looking in, and you're like, bro, what? I've been right this whole time. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. Today, I'm going to break down why being smart can actually sabotage your ability to build trust. And more importantly, how to fix it without dumbing yourself down. Let's get into it. Here's the first truth that might sting a little. Trust is not built on being right. Trust is built on feeling safe. Let me say that again. People don't trust you because you're correct. They trust you because they feel safe around you. And here's where smart people mess up. When your brain is wired for accuracy, for precision, for catching errors, you start treating every conversation like a problem to solve. Every idea someone shares becomes something to evaluate. Every statement becomes something to fact check. You're not trying to be cold. You're genuinely trying to help. But to the other person, it feels like they're being judged, measured, tested. And when people feel tested, they don't open up. They protect themselves. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly safe with someone who was constantly correcting you? Probably never. The philosopher David Hume figured this out back in the 1700s. He said something wild. Reason alone doesn't drive human connection. Emotion does. Habit does. Felt experience does. We like to think we're persuaded by logic, but research shows we're actually moved by how someone makes us feel first. So if your intelligence makes people feel small, evaluated, or unsafe, your brilliant ideas won't land. They'll bounce right off. Okay, so here's the science. Researchers at Harvard and Princeton studied what happens when we meet someone new, and they found something super consistent across cultures. When you meet someone, your brain is unconsciously asking two questions, like instantly. Question 1. Is this person warm? Do they mean me well? Can I trust them? Question 2. Is this person competent? Can they actually deliver? Both matter, but here's the key. The order matters. Warmth comes first, always. We need to feel safe before we can be impressed. Think about meeting someone crazy smart but kind of cold and distant. You might admire their brain, but you're not going to share your real thoughts with them. You're going to protect yourself. Now, flip it. Someone whose competence you're unsure of, but they're genuinely warm, interested in you, clearly on your side. You'll probably give them the benefit of the doubt. You might even root for them. Here's where smart people get it backwards. Most intelligent people lead with competence. It's what they trust most in themselves, so it's what they offer first. They demonstrate value through insight, through being right, through solving problems fast. But to the other person, this can accidentally signal, I'm here to evaluate you, not connect with you. The warmth gets buried under all that brilliance. Your move, lead with warmth. Let competence follow. Ask questions before giving answers. Show interest before showing intelligence. Let's go deeper. There's something underneath all this that most people miss. It's the need to be recognized. Not recognized like famous. Recognized like being truly seen. Acknowledged as a real person with your own perspective, your own inner world. The philosopher Martin Buber had this beautiful framework. He said there are two ways we can relate to people. I-it and I-thou. I-it mode. You treat the other person as an object, a problem to solve, a thing to categorize, understand, fix. This isn't evil, we need it sometimes. But when it's your default mode with people, you're missing something crucial. I-thou mode. You encounter the other person as a whole being, not something to figure out, not a means to an end, just a presence to be present with. Trust, real trust, comes from I-thou moments. And here's the trap for smart people. When someone shares an idea and your first response is pointing out the flaws, when someone expresses a feeling and you immediately offer a logical solution, when someone struggles with something easy for you and impatience flashes across your face, In each moment, the other person feels something painful. They've been weighed and found wanting. Not seen, but measured. You meant to help, but they felt diminished. Here's the fix. Before you solve, witness. Before you correct, acknowledge. Sometimes people don't need your solution. They need to feel that you see them. Now let's talk about the big one, the need to be right. Look, being right feels good. When your prediction proves accurate, when your analysis cuts through confusion, when you see what others miss, it's validating. Your intelligence gets confirmed. But here's the shadow side. When being right becomes more important than the relationship itself, people feel it. They sense that your loyalty is to the truth, not to them. And in those moments, they don't feel safe. They feel like they're in a courtroom, not a conversation. The philosopher Immanuel Kant said every human being has inherent dignity. Worth that can't be measured or compared, and this dignity demands respect, even when someone is wrong. What does that mean practically? It means you can be right and still be wrong in how you delivered it. You can win the argument and lose the relationship. You can correct the fact and damage the trust. This doesn't mean lie or lower your standards. It means how you hold your truth matters as much as the truth itself. There's this quote, "People may forget what you said, people may forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." For smart people who pride themselves on content, this is tough, but it's real. All right, so how do we actually fix this? Here's your system. 1. The 2-second pause rule. Before responding to anyone, pause for 2 seconds. In that pause, ask yourself, am I about to connect or correct? If it's correct, find a way to connect first. 2. The acknowledgement habit. Before you give your perspective, acknowledge theirs. That's an interesting angle. I can see why you'd think that. That makes sense given your experience. It takes 3 seconds and it completely changes how your input lands. 3. Ask before you answer. Smart people love giving answers, but trust is built through questions. Before you solve, ask, what do you think? What have you tried? What would help most right now? Sometimes they just need to feel heard, not fixed. 4. Match their speed. Intelligent minds move fast, but trust builds at the speed of the other person, not you. If they need time to process, give them time. If they want to vent, let them vent. Matching their pace signals safety. 5. Be wrong sometimes. On purpose. Not about facts, but about needing to prove yourself. Say, I don't know more often. Say, you might be right when there's room for it. Showing that you don't need to win every exchange makes you infinitely more trustworthy. Here's the bottom line. You don't have to be less intelligent to be more trusted. You just have to remember that the person in front of you isn't a problem to solve. They're a human being who wants to feel seen, safe, and respected. Lead with warmth. Acknowledge before analyzing. Pause before proving. Do that consistently and your intelligence becomes an asset instead of a barrier. Trust isn't about being right. It's about being safe to be around. And that's something you can actually practice. If this helped, smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me your biggest struggle with this stuff. And subscribe because next week, we're diving into why overthinking kills your confidence and how to stop it. Let's go.